Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This video kind of want to change things up a little bit and do something I've wanted to talk about for quite a while now. I actually want to do a series of videos, and depending on how well this video does will determine if I do more in the series or if this is just going to be a one-off. So what I want to talk about and do in the series is basically what to stay away from when you go into a shop, or what to be wary of, and kind of educate people on what goes on behind closed doors in the automotive world, as well as talk about the customer side of things, do's and don'ts as well. So just going to jump into it and start off at the top at number one. And the first thing is, when you walk into a shop, if the labor rate is not posted there, turn around and walk out. And why I say that is because the labor rate should be posted. If it's not, then pretty much you could possibly charge whatever they want to charge you. So if you're a good buddy or you're local, you get one rate. If you're a tourist, broke down, in a hurry, you get another rate. And it's just honesty. It's just basic honesty. I mean, when I do things in my shop, I charge everyone the same rate, period. And that's how it should be. And so if you don't see that labor rate posted, just get out of there. Another one would be stay away from shops that use cheap parts. And I know you guys are gonna say, well, parts are all the same. No, parts are not all the same. You have good parts and you have bargain basement parts. And if you wanna do the job over and over again, or have the same part break over and over again, then yeah, use the cheap parts. Usually you get what you pay for with everything, including in the automotive world. And honestly, I prefer to use factory parts on my own stuff. A lot of my stuff is aging out, and so it's getting harder to get factory parts, but it costs a little bit more, but they're well worth it. And actually, sometimes they don't even cost any more, or they're cheaper than the aftermarket parts. It's kind of weird how that works out. Sometimes they're cheaper, sometimes they're a little bit more, and sometimes they're the exact same. So if a shop just wants to use cheap aftermarket parts, it's because the markup on those parts is higher and the shop makes more money. The markup on factory parts really isn't as much, and so usually the shop actually makes less money by using factory parts. So something to be aware of with that one as well. Another one is you go to a shop, you got a big job, and you explain to them what you need done. They look at it, diagnose it, and say, you know, we're not comfortable doing this, we recommend another shop. Take their word for it, because chances are either they don't have the skills to do it or they don't have the equipment to do it correctly. And in this type of work, you know, most people cannot be specialized in everything. You know, there's so many makes and models of vehicles and so many systems on the vehicles anymore that it's hard to be able to do everything and have the equipment or the tools to be able to do everything as it should be done. So just take their word for it. If you can find another shop that wants to do the work, that's comfortable with it, then do that. One thing I will say is be wary of people that say that they can do everything. Chances are those people cannot do everything, and they're most likely going to screw things up worse than when they started. So usually you can tell by talking to somebody after a couple minutes how knowledgeable they are, or if they're just full of shit. And kind of related to that is certification. To me means about this much. I would much rather take somebody that has 20 years experience in the field than somebody that has a bunch of certificates on the wall. I don't know how many times I've personally seen people come and go that just got out of schools like WyoTech. They went to school for 2 years, paid a bunch of money. They barely know how to change oil. Everything they learned or everything they were taught, they either didn't learn it or they just completely forgot it. So it's a lot better to find skilled labor than people that just have a bunch of certificates on the wall saying that they can do that. Usually, from my experience, from when I had my certifications, it just means you can pass a test. It doesn't mean you actually know how to do the work. On the customer side of things, this is kind of a really important one, and that's don't be pushy, don't be in a hurry. Don't just sit there and gawk and stare or hover. If you have a problem with your vehicle, just drop it off, leave it, let them diagnose it, let them go through the process without being bothered. And why they say that is because chances are, if you're hovering or you're pushy, a mistake's gonna be made, or you're gonna get misdiagnosed, and then you're just gonna have to wait even longer for the problem to be fixed in the end. So, especially if you're somebody like me, I work much better alone. When people are around, if I don't know you well, I kind of put up a wall and I kick my anger button up about 10 notches. And so I do a lot better when I can just relax, go through my process, do my mental thing, and just get shit done. And so please don't be a hoverer. Just drop your vehicle off, come back when they say you're good to go. Another one is not really applicable to a lot of people, but more to those that want to learn, and that's learn to change your own oil. Why I say that is because I don't know how many times I've seen mistakes made at quick lube places where they leave the oil drain plug loose, it falls out when the customer's driving down the road, motor loses all its oil, customer keeps driving, motor seizes up, and guess what? It just costs the customer a motor. Just because one person somewhere couldn't tighten drain plug, or they didn't have enough skill to tighten said drain plug. And because I see this so often, it's actually getting worse and worse with every passing year. It just shows that the amount of skilled people in this labor market is just rapidly diminishing. Another one too that is really frustrating to me is same thing with the quick lube places. They check your air filter. You know, it's pretty simple. Usually it's just a box that encases the air filter, has a couple screws, a couple clips. It should just take, under 5 minutes to take it apart, put it back together. A lot of times it's even faster than that, and you'd be surprised how many times people cannot just attach a few clips or align those screws correctly and bolt that box together. What happens if it's not done correctly? Air gets past the air filter, goes into the engine, and usually sucks in a bunch of crap like dirt, sand, bugs, and that ends up damaging the mass airflow sensor, and in turn causes your check engine light come on, your engine to run bad, and then you panic and wonder what's going on. You take it to a shop and they charge you $300 for a new mass airflow sensor to fix a problem when somebody at the other place couldn't be bothered to just line a box up and tighten a couple screws. Again, it comes down to unskilled labor in the job market, or just complete idiots, take your pick. And I know this is all frustrating to a lot of people, but good luck finding a good mechanic. And when you find one, I suggest you stick with them, keep a good relationship with them, just because at the rate things are going, people like myself and people that have been in the industry for 20, 30 plus years are either getting sick of it, they're retiring, or they're like me on the verge of quitting and just saying screw it because we're sick of everything. And younger people are not getting in the job market to do this type of work, or they don't have the skills to do it. So I foresee in the next 5 to 10 years, you're just going to have an ever shrinking supply of good mechanics to work on your vehicles. And the last thing I'm going to say in this video is, if you're happy with the job that was done and you're going to tip the mechanic, please give the tip directly to the guy that worked on your vehicle, because chances are if you leave the tip with the person in the office, they're going to put that in their pocket and they're not going to give it to the guy that worked on the vehicle. Trust me, it's happened to me more times than I can count, and it's happened to guys that I know more times than I can count. So if you're going to tip somebody, just make sure you give it to the guy that earned it. It'd be greatly appreciated. And with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. Again, if you guys like what I've been talking about and you want me to talk about this more, just let me know. Be happy to do a lot more videos on the subject matter. There's enough stuff in here I could go on all day. So If it's popular, I'll do more. So with that said, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.